Hey everyone, it's meteorologist Brad Pennish for SkiSoutheast.com. What an amazing flip in the pattern. Even when I knew it was going to come, it ended up being better than expected. Two things happened. We had some overperforming northwest flow snow behind the Arctic front, and this air has been so cold and dry that the snowmakers have been able to make snow 24/7, and it's been a really fluffy snow. For man-made snow, it's been really amazing. So what a great stretch of weather. And it's going to continue this week. I hope the resorts take advantage of this cold air and keep cranking those snow guns out, because as we get closer to the weekend, there's a pretty good chance we're going to have kind of a little of I want to say it's kind of a tweener system, because we're going to have some moisture coming in from the west that's going to arrive as the cold air is hanging on by a thread. And this really starts, I think, early Friday morning. Let me back this up a second. Now, on our modeling here, you're going to see a lot of rain, but based on the way the cold air is setting up, I'm not going to be shocked if there's enough that, especially at the highest elevations, 3,500 feet or so, we end up with some snow. And even if it does change to rain briefly here on Friday, the back side of this thing promises to bring in some cold air and another northwest flow event that could be pretty spectacular. And I'll show you more about that coming up in a second. But here's my forecast for this week for all the areas of the southeast. We've got 2 more nights for both the northern resorts and the southern resorts of great snowmaking. Friday gets a little questionable. I'm still thinking it's going to be cold enough, especially for the higher elevations up in West Virginia, Maryland, that they'll be able to make snow at night, though it could be really marginal. But these are our chances for natural snow as well, especially Saturday into Sunday, because we're going to have that northwest flow. And that northwest flow is going to be really pronounced up in West Virginia and western Maryland. So areas like Winter Place and Snowshoe and up towards Wisp could end up with a really good snow event out of this. And I think even down in North Carolina, it's going to be pretty promising as well. And I'll show you what I mean by this. So here's our system heading our way this weekend. You can see kind of the wintry mix here, but maybe mixing with rain at times Friday night. But then during the morning on Saturday, as the low kind of strengthens and develops near the coast, it looks like it's going to transfer here. We start to see a pretty good northwest flow event. Now, northwest flow events are great, but when you can have some synoptic snow as well, what I mean by that is there's some moisture there, it actually enhances. So this looks like a really good setup based on this right now. Now, a lot of things can change, but this northwest flow event could extend into Saturday night. You can see it's still going strong Saturday night, and even Sunday morning we wake up, it's still going strong, especially up in West Virginia. So I think areas up in here, because you can see the plumes of moisture here, this is actually maybe the best northwest flow event setup I've seen so far this season. So we'll have to see if this continues, because it could go all the way into Monday morning. I mean, Snowshoe, I mean, look at that. It's snowing the entire weekend up there. So if you timed a trip out to Snowshoe here this weekend, boy, did you time out a pretty good event here. And let me show you the amount of snow based on this forecast right now. So you can see Friday night, this is where it's like, okay, very hit or miss above 3,500 feet. But watch what happens by Saturday morning. It really starts to pile up. I'm going to take this all the way into Monday morning here real quickly. Let me play that and we'll pause it right there. And I'm going to zoom in. You can see areas in North Carolina. You're looking at general 1 to 3 with some 2 to 4 inches around Beach and Sugar. But then you get up into West Virginia. I mean, look at some of these totals from Wisp down through areas where Timberline is and Canaan Valley, and then down towards areas around Snowshoe. You're approaching a foot of snow. If this verifies, that's going to be amazing. So keep your fingers crossed. This could be a really good setup for the weekend. I think that's going to be potentially maybe our best northwest flow event of the entire season. But if we continue to make snow, it's not going to matter. This weekend's going to be great because we're laying a good base, and this base will continue to be built. Now, next week there is a little bit of a warm-up, but nothing like the hot air we had at the beginning of January. This looks more like something we can get through before the next batch of cold air comes in. I think the next couple of weeks, just to give you a heads up, going into February, it's going to be a wild ride. A lot of ups and downs ahead, which means potential for storms, but also potential we could see some warm weather in between. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll be at Winterfest this weekend in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. I'm going to be up at I'll be up at Beach Mountain on Friday talking about snowmaking. So if you're in the area, stop by, say hi. I'll be up there all weekend in that area. Shoot me a DM or hit me up on Facebook, and I'll hope to hook up with you guys. But it should be a great weekend. If you're going skiing, enjoy it. And as always, things snow.